Hey everybody. Yeah. Shovel to the basement, and you blistered up your pants, and you danced all night at the wedding. You stayed up drinking with the band, and you made love until daylight, creeping across the floor. Tell me, what else was it you felt? The first chill of November steal inside your coat, right there with a fragile pulse of living fluttered in your throat. You left the life you thought you lived in, never even shut the door. Tell me, what else was it you were looking for? The book of all your precious sorrows, it had come down off your shelf, and so you labored over every empty page till you finally came back to yourself, and then you laughed out loud. You were light and free and poor. Oh, tell me, what else was it Would you meet me in the clear light? Meet me where the leaves are coming down. And if I learn to say your name, would you learn to stick around? Oh, we could walk, we could just say nothing, just say nothing more. And what else was it for? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone out there. I'm presuming you are out there. This is my very first time trying to use this thing called Restream, and yes, you are out there. Look at that. Say hi to everybody. I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, if we were all in a room together, you would not be able to chat with each other without interrupting other people listening. But right now, we can all listen, and you can and should chat with each other to your heart's content. This is me doing what I do, and and I miss it, and I miss you, and I miss doing this, but obviously us being safe is a greater priority. But man, we gotta hang together here because it's getting rough out there. I want to thank Coughlin's Live. I want to thank everyone who's watching in Ireland. Oh, that's great. Let me know how it sounds. If you could tell me if you can hear everything, if you can see everything. I won't be able to see the comments on Instagram, but I will be able to see all of your comments here. That's great. So yes, I want to thank Coughlin's Live in Cork in Ireland. The last time I was there, I had a grand old time, and in celebration of playing this gig, I'd like to pour a nice pint of Guinness there. There we are. And for you people on Instagram, that's right, a pint of Guinness. There. Isn't that lovely? Now, I know you might be a little confused about the scale. It's been a while, but those of you who've seen me live know this, and those of you who've only ever seen me on the internet, I'm 14 feet tall. It's a little awkward in the folk clubs that I usually play, but this is a actual sized pint, and this is just me. I'm a huge person. I have to book an entire row on an airplane, and I have to be hauled to the gigs in a big van, and so you know, there it is. I have to have giant guitars constructed for me, and it's worth it. In the middle of the humdrum, it's a sound like a riddle, and it's a waiting and a waiting and a waiting for your soul to solve it. And in the medicine cabinet, they got a pill to take the edge off. It's waiting and a waiting and a waiting for your tongue to dissolve it. But you don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. I already know. In the middle of a lifetime, the road gets a little squirrely. You might lose your sense of humor for a year or two. And in the middle of the ocean, there's a dolphin with a head cold. And you probably think about him just as often as he thinks of you. Yeah, but you don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. I already know. You can wonder if you mean it, but you can just put a hand out and you can lay it on me. I can second that emotion. We can make the moment stand out. We can lock it all down, or we can set it all free. Yeah, but you don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. I already know. Oh, oh. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. I already know. You don't have to tell me. I already know. All right, let me try this delicious little pint of Guinness. Excellent. Tastes like Guinness to me. So yes, if you would all, this is this whole show, and I'm going to be playing for just a little over an hour, I suppose. This is paired with Coughlin's Live, which is a wonderful venue in Cork in Ireland. I've played 25 years of gigs in Ireland. I used to play at the Lobby Bar and played a few gigs in that Pat put on in the Cork Opera House, and then was away for a while after the Lobby Bar closed down, and back home I stopped doing gigs, and then Brian Hassey put together Coughlin's Live, and so I had a wonderful gig there last time I was in Cork. And I reached out to them. I've been twinning with venues, you know, sort of pooling our resources. And I reached out to Coughlin's, or actually I think he reached out to me, but I said, hey, let's do it, like a regular gig. We'll send some of the funds your way and some my way. And he came back to me and he said, actually we've got emergency unemployment and we've got a strong social safety net here, in Ireland. So it's, why don't you just take care of yourself, which one is super generous of him, and two, it's allows us to send some of the money today to Cork Penny Dinners, which is, they do really, really good work feeding the hungry in Cork. It also points something out. I'll just say this out loud, I love my country. I've loved my country for a long time, but we are fucking up. We are doing this much, much more poorly than we could. Not just our response to the coronavirus, but we've been shredding our social safety net since I was a kid. Pretty much the 80s, we tried to turn it all around, and I'm sad about that, but I also want to say I'm really inspired by all of the progress that's been made in other countries. I lived in Ireland at the tail end of the 1980s. Not too recently, divorce was illegal in Ireland, and Joyce was banned and all that stuff. And, you look at your Taoiseach now, you've got, you legalized gay marriage in the country. You're inspiring to those of us who would wish to actually build a country as equitable and peaceable as yours. So I want to thank you for leading the way, O Ireland. And here's a song called Sad, 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 and Far Away from Home. I'm going to go on a 5-song streak now of songs that mention all the travels I've done in Ireland. This one does. Still stuck in that Dr. Rowe book, the one place he can never escape. And your voice on the phone is just one of those paintings where everything loses its shape. And the little girl across the street, she is light on her feet, she is sunlight bouncing off chrome. And me, I'm just sad, 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 and I'm far away from home. Once I was standing on a Dublin street corner, I heard a fiddler pierce the veil of illusion. Once I got plastered at my best friend's bar mitzvah. Once I lived in perfect confusion. Once I was 11, and once I was just atoms. Once I was a hilltop in Rome. Now I'm just sad, 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 sad. I'm far away from home. Singing like set that high. Maybe I should mention that as I write this song down, I am the happiest fucker alive. Because the seashore cries out for a painter to paint it, and the wind whips the water into foam. Because I'm just sad, 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 sad. I'm far away from home. Yes, I'm sad, 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 and I'm far away from home. Singing like all right, thank you very much. So if you are watching on Instagram, which is you, I can't see the comments and I was unable to post anything. If you are super savvy while you are watching on Instagram, maybe go and copy the links for the Venmo and the PayPal from the Facebook feed and paste them in to the Instagram feed so that the good dwellers in the kingdom of Instagram can also contribute. That'd be great. I want to thank you for tuning in. And again, and I don't say this often enough, if you are feeling financially stressed right now, just stay and listen. It's fine. Everyone's feeling financially a little worried, but if you're really under stress and you can't contribute, that is fine. You're welcome here. Please stay. You know, I made a pretty good living as a touring musician, and that is gone, but I have started a media empire of online teaching and live streaming, and I'd already sort of headed in that direction. So, you know, there's still something coming in. I got a roof, I got food. If you are Jeff Bezos, fine. Just a few million would be fine. Here's a tune called Road to Mallow. Mallow is in County Cork, down in Ireland, and this song began when David Goodrich and I were in a rented Ford Festiva, and we were driving from Middleton in County Cork over to the Mallow Park Hotel, where we had free accommodation, and the local animals decided it was a grand time to present themselves for our inspection in the middle of the road, so I burst into song. 6 rabbits, 2 dogs, 1 cat, 1 cow. And then we saw something could have been a fox. Come to think of it now, on the road to Mallow, on the road, Les Gold, Ballincurragh, Watergrass Hill, Bright Bridge, Rathcormac, Ballyhooly, Killavallen, over the ridge, on the road to Mallow, on the road. This road is shining bright after rain, the moon is just past full. And we saw no ghost at the side of the road, he was drunk out of his skull. High above, vapor trails, passing over gleaming rails, over glowing towers, over crashing waves, euros, dollars, ashes, slaves, screens and streets and streams of rushing liquid light, far and away, far and away. All the moon is shine bright on the hedges while I'm driving slow. All these 2 o'clock creatures, I wouldn't want to hurt them. No, on the road to Mallow, on the road back home, on the road to Mallow, which is any road. Thanks. Someone pointed out to me that the name of the venue in question is Collins Live, not Coughlin's Live. We would say Coughlin's, you say Collins. Similarly, there is some confusion about the pronunciation of the name of the president in the United States of America. His name is pronounced Silvio Berlusconi. And if you're on Facebook, why not hop over to Collins Live, to their Facebook page, and give them a like, and maybe share the stream from there. You know, give them some oxygen in this weird digital world that we all live in. And for that matter, head over to Cork Penny Dinners. I think I linked to their Facebook page somewhere. But just put them in the search bar. You know, send them thank them for the work they're doing. When we're done here, we'll send them a little chunk of change from a bunch of people around the world. But, yep, spread the love, you know. And again, just share this stream. I mean, there's a little button that says share down on the bottom of the feed. Just click that and say, hey, I'm watching Peter Mulvey, come watch with me. I have a brand new record that will be out quite soon. I actually have 2 records right before the whole world locked down. I went to my spiritual home turf, a joint called the Cafe Carp, and myself and Sista Strings and Nathan Keelan sat down, and we made 2 records. We made a studio record during the daytime, and then we played 2 shows. And so I'd like to play you the first song from the live record, which will be out soon. This is called Don't You Change. I wrote this with the great Milwaukee songwriter John Seegert. It's called Don't You Ever Change. Don't you ever change, don't you change on me. Don't you ever change, don't you change on me. Don't you change. 'Cause if you ever change, if you change on me, if you ever change, it would rain on me. Don't you change. Love was everything that they told me it would be. Everything they told me, but I wouldn't listen. Baby, are you listening to me? much. Man, we debated, Sister Strings and I and Nathan, we were like, wait a minute, we're ending that song with a cha-cha-cha. We don't want it to be ironic and we don't want it to be appropriationist. So we were thinking, what is like the non-ironic, I mean, it's hard to calibrate a cha-cha-cha, I gotta say. Well, returning to Ireland, all of my tours there from 1997 all the way to 2008, 9, all those tours were booked by my good friend Larry Roddy, who brought dozens and dozens and scores of musicians to Ireland. My friend Jeff Lang from Australia, Paul Lamb and the Kingsnakes, my mentor Chris Smither. Someone mentioned seeing me in Cork at the Lobby Bar opening for Chris. That was probably the first time I headed over to Ireland. Oh man, all of us. Chris Delmhorst, Jeff Foucault. He brought Kelly Joe Phelps, the mystical Kelly Joe Phelps, to Ireland. Henry Butler, the great New Orleans piano player. So anyway, he passed on back in 2010. And I wrote this for him. And this is called Beckett Was a Bird of Prey. We sang every time we say goodbye, that last night in Ballymore. Then we walked up on Church Mountain in the cloud. And from Mallinhead to Inishman, down to the Wexford shore, how we always came back to your old house built by Johnny Dowd. Oh, the moon is just a silver stag, and Beckett was a bird of prey. The rain is steady now, looks like it's down for the day. I was just a soldier in your army, and a proud one. Now we're all just travelers on the shore, lifting up our little songs, the quiet and the loud ones. And of course there is still music of a night in Ballymore. Oh, the moon is just a silver stag, and Beckett was a bird of prey. The rain is steady now, looks like it's down for the day. Hats off to you, old friend, and now it's down for the day. Thank you. My sister-in-law says hi from Milwaukee. That's beautiful. Jerry, oh, thank you. And my friend Kimberly down in Georgia. Man, oh man, oh man. I don't know how any citizen of Georgia does not just blow their stack once a day over the governor who stole that election from one of the most capable humans I've seen in a while. I know that they're going to do all the calculation themselves. And Biden's going to pick a running mate according to what a bunch of statisticians tell him, and that's fine. But Stacey Abrams is a damn titan, and she ought to be governor of Georgia right now. And when there is a black woman in the governorship of a state, Stacey Abrams will have gotten us a lot of the way there. And anyway, my God, I keep coming back to what's his name, Leo, the Prime Minister of Ireland, the Taoiseach of Ireland, he's a physician. Am I right about this? Like, aside from his governmental duties, he's gone back and he's working shifts now. Whereas our president, Mr. Again, there's some confusion about how the name is pronounced. I know it's weird. It's spelled Donaldtrump, but it is pronounced Benito Mussolini. So anyway, here's a song called When I Was in Monaghan. I started this song back in 1989. And I finished it in the winter of 1997, so it took me 18 years to finish this thing. It's on a record of mine called There Is Another World. In the long year of the knife, when everything was open, to the startled pale of bone, to the quickened bloom of pain, we wept and bled and trembled in the doorway to the station. Oh, but when I was in Monaghan, she washed my hair with rain. When I was in Monaghan, she washed my hair with rain. You broke my throat, I stole the blade, I ground it on my father's wheel. Then I threw it in the river, where the river heads for south. And I raged just like an animal, though to see me all was still. Oh, but when I was in Monaghan, she kissed me on the mouth. When I was in Monaghan, she kissed me on the mouth. She kissed me. Beware, oh traveler. Beware, oh traveler. For the road is walking to. Beware, oh traveler, for the road is walking to. The road is walking to. You have been a ghost for so long, you can't know what I've become. Oh, that I still read through your dark eyes the bright news of the day. And now I know my good right arm is never growing back. Oh, but when I was in Monaghan, she dashed my tears away. When I was in Monaghan, she dashed my tears away. All my tears. Beware, oh traveler. Beware, oh traveler. Beware, oh traveler. Beware, oh traveler. Somebody said, I love that line, beware, O traveler, for the road is walking too. That line appears in a Jim Harrison poem called After Ikku. And the whole line is, beware, O wanderer, the road is walking too, said Rilke one day to no one in particular. I happen to have a buddy who is the editor-in-chief at Copper Canyon Press, which was Jim Harrison's poetry press while he lived and made poems. And so I asked him, I called him up and I said, what does that mean? Does that mean that Jim Harrison was quoting Rilke? And he said, well, I'll call up a friend of mine who's a Rilke scholar and we'll find out. Came back to me and said, I have no fucking idea. But it turns out there's a poet and a trout fishing guy named Chris Dombrowski who was friends with Jim Harrison. And he was like, oh yeah. He said, if you ever get a great line, just put it into one of your works, into one of your poems, but say that you got it from someone else. Just cover your tracks. So it probably Jim Harrison wrote that. When this bird has flown, when spring has sprung, when what you used to know like the back of your hand isn't even on the tip of your tongue, when the chips have settled, when the dust is down, when you washed off the grease paint and you were still a clown, who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you now? Who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you now? Now. When the bottle is empty, when the money is gone, when you're just another angry old man shouting, get off of my lawn, when your tree has fallen and there was no one to hear it, when your heart is a cornered stray and you can't get near it, who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you now? Who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you now? Love you now. When the very bottom dollar has gone to the last top dog, or when the princess has kissed you soundly, you're still a frog, when there's no way through, when the only way is out, when it is all over but the shouting and you're too tired to shout, tell me who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you now? Who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you now? Who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you? Who's gonna love you now? I'm getting grief from Gary Matthews. So, the secret chord at the Mallow Park Hotel was free accommodations. Yeah, that's right. That's all you ever were to me, just free accommodations and absolute magic. Gary, were you at the gig where Kelly Jo Phelps threw the guitar 25 feet up in the air and let it smash on the stage? Man. Also, Mike Peel is on. Hi, Mike Peel. He's the drummer on, 4 or 5 of my records. Trouble with Poets, Kitchen Radio, the Knuckleball Suite, Deep Blue, Rapture. He's the drummer on all of those records, and which means that he's pretty much, I would say, the most foundational singing teacher that I've ever had. Because the very first thing in music is rhythm, is phrasing. That's where the music happens. And then melodies happen because there is rhythm. Arpeggios are just chords broken out across time, etc., etc. Like, it all comes down to time and rhythm. And so I hope I'm fucking learning something. And then finally somebody... Somebody asked if I would tell this joke. This is this is Larry's joke, and I'm happy to tell it. It involves two nuns from Ireland who go on their vacation in Transylvania. And so, you know, they're driving along through the bleak Transylvanian night, and a vampire bat creature just swoops onto their windshield, onto their windscreen, and the one nun says to the other, "Turn on the windshield wipers, that'll knock the vampire creature off." And so she turns on the windshield wipers, and it buffets the creature back and forth, you know, but it's still hanging on there, being evil. And so she says, I'll bless the water in the reservoir and the windshield wiper fluid, and you spray it with that, it'll destroy it. And so they bless it, she sprays it, and it singes the forehead of the bat creature, but it's still there, you know, terrifying them. And so the first nun says, I don't know, I guess show it your cross. And so the other nun rolls the window down and says, "Get the fuck off my car, you bastard!" Here's a song from my other forthcoming record. I want to send this out to the President of the United States of America. This song is called "Oh My Dear, the Demagogue." And again, I know I got to keep clarifying this. There is a lot of confusion as to how to pronounce his name. It's spelled Donaldtrump, but it's pronounced Alois Schicklgruber. Oh my dear, what a little time has done to you. Oh my dear, what a little time has done to you. You are all worked up, you're in such a state. Boxing in shadows, is staying up late. Oh my dear, what a little time has done to you. Oh my dear, what kind of storm blew through? Oh my dear, what kind of storm blew through? The demagogue, the general, the priest, who need you most but love you least. Oh my dear, what kind of storm? Oh my dear, how did I let you down? Oh my dear, how did I let you down? I couldn't hear you while I was out in the wind. I traded your life for my original sin. Oh my dear, how did I let you down? how will we put this right? Oh my dear, how will we put this right? Call the bone setter, bring the hammer around. Oh, wait for the rain to wash it all down. Bring on the sage to show the brokers the door. Grandmother's garden or the kiln floor. Mother's milk or a cleansing fire. Gabriel's horn or Orpheus's lyre. Oh my dear, how will we put this right? Oh my dear, how will we put this right? Oh my dear. That is for our country and our commander-in-chief, as it were. Man, oh man, oh man. The other day he spoke at the Ford Motor Company, and he didn't wear a mask. And then he said, as usual, he lied and said, oh no, I wore one back there. But I don't want to give you the pleasure, he said to the assembled journalists. I didn't want to give you the satisfaction of seeing me in a mask. It's not about him. It's not about him. But he acts as though it is. But much, much, much worse than that. In the middle of the speech, he mentioned Henry Ford, and he said, good blood, good bloodlines. He stopped and looked up from his script and said, good bloodlines. He knows exactly what he's doing. Henry Ford was a Nazi sympathizer who circulated anti-Semitic literature. The president knows just what he's doing, and if you're standing with him, I'm parting ways with you. I really mean it. I hope good things happen to you for the rest of your life. I hope you live a good long time. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're safe. I hope everyone you love is able to love you in return, and that you die peacefully. And I'm not going to say you're a bad person, but I'm done with you. So that's where I'm at. Anyway, let's turn to much more cheerful thoughts, like the bleak midwinter up in Alaska. This song is called Windshield. There's a raven on the roof in the sideways light, emptiness black against monochrome bright, filling up my dreams with his monologue. He's never gonna let me go. He's trumping around up there in the snow. He sounds like the wind, like a ghost, like a child, like a dog. And I'm trying to hear, what does he say? Trying to hear, what does he say? Every windshield in this town has seen better days. Door opens up at the top of the stairs, and all of that brutal Arctic air slides into this basement bar and down onto the floor. And the sun just rose, and now it's setting, and some people here begin forgetting what it is that they came here looking for. Maybe they came to get away. Maybe they came to get away. Every windshield in this town has seen better days. Persephone went and she ate them seeds, and now she's got the driving need to skip town every time the nights get long. And she charms all the boys with her Carhartt jeans till they're twisting in their summer dreams, trying to get within earshot of her song. Where she's gonna go, No matter who says stay, she's gonna go. No matter who says stay, every windshield in this town has seen better days. Sometimes out on the edge of town, Timmy shuts the motor down. He pulls over to the side of the road and he kills the lights. And a million stars and a million trees and the blazing moon and the bitter breeze and all of the vast of the emptying of the silent nights. And you can feel your whole life falling away. You can feel your whole life falling away. Every windshield in this town, every windshield in this town, every windshield in this town seen better days. All right, that was called Windshield. I saw a request for if you shoot at a king, you must kill him. So I'll play you that tune if I can remember it. Oh, we got someone from Mallow, another Mallow soul on YouTube. Excellent. Thank you for tuning in, Mr. Skinner. This is called If You Shoot at a King, You Must Kill Him. It's one of the few songs that I've ever written on foot that I don't remember writing. I flew overnight to Bilbao. 3 flights. Tired as hell. And then I was in the middle of a songwriting game where my friends would give me, you know, prompts, clues, things to write a song about. So it's like evening and I'm trying to do that thing where you stay up and you stay up all the way until it's evening there. Don't take a nap so that you can go to sleep in the evening and get on the clock of Europe, you know. And I had taken an Ambien on the airplane and I was given the instructions for this song. I decoded the hotel email in Basque. And I was told that my song needed to be from the perspective of someone who is having a recurring dream. And then I was also told that my song needed to contain the phrase, Mercedes in the ditch. I drank a bunch of Spanish wine, ate some Iberian ham, and then I took another Ambien and walked out into the streets of Bilbao in the evening and walked around the wintry streets of Bilbao. And when I woke up the next morning, the notebook was full of this song, and I still had the melody. So this is called "If You Shoot at a King, You Must Kill Him." Every night I have the same dream, the same dream, the same dream. Every night I have the same dream, it is the same. Every night I have the same dream, the same dream, the same dream. Every night I have the same dream, it is the same. Mercedes in the ditch, horses on the hillside. A magpie swoops down to the nearest branch. He tilts his little magpie head. He looks Miss Spade in the eye, and he says, "If you shoot at a king, you must kill him." plaza is heaving. The people are enraptured. The tops of the buildings are just beginning to catch fire. She caresses her feverish body against mine, and with her lips so close to my ear, she says, if you shoot at a king, you must kill him. Empty city, standing silent on the plain. I'm walking alone through everything that once was, everything that once was, everything that once was. Markets overflowing, and taverns full of dreamers, and the dwellings of the wealthy, and the dwellings of the poor, and the merry Colosseum, and the solemn cathedral, and the placid library, with the sun streaming through its windows, and galleries full of paintings, and gardens just to have them, and theaters full of laughter, and churches full of tears. And I weep, and I wander for everything that once was, for what cannot be remade. I weep, and I wander, and even the graveyard is empty. The graveyard is empty, for the ghosts have all gone. And I weep, and I wander, for what cannot be remade, for what cannot be remade. I weep, and I wander until at last I come to the bone-dry canal, and I lie down in the bottom of the bone-dry canal, and I lie down in the dust at the bottom, the dust at the bottom of the bone-dry canal. I lie down for 1,000 years. I lie down forever. I lie down until I forget the name of water. I lie down until I forget what I have forgotten, until I am only dust. The dust at the bottom, the dust at the bottom of the bone-dry canal. Lying down forever, lying down forever, lying down forever, lying down forever. And then there comes a raindrop, and then another raindrop, and the rain becomes a storm, and the storm becomes a flood, and the water comes me over, and now I am the water, but the water speaks to me. Although I am the water speaks to me in its ancient empty language, and the water says, rest, my child, at last. Oh, Trevor Morrissey from Rose's West End Bar. He's saying that that's awesome. After the gigs, a lady at the gig brought one of my records, bought it from me, and then brought it up to him and asked him to sign it. Confused him for me, and apparently I gave permission. Like, yeah, go ahead, you can sign for me. Here's a song called Charlie. Which this song actually has a little bit of Ireland in it. One of the verses begins, miles of the little horses. Spins Jem Casey's tale. So Miles of the Little Horses is the English translation of Miles na Gapaline, which is Irish. It means Miles of the Little Horses. Miles na Gapaline was one of the several pen names of a guy named Brian O'Nolan. He went by Flann O'Brien, and as Flann O'Brien, he wrote a fairly popular absurdist novel called The Third Policeman, and then he also wrote a really beautiful, strange, sort of a meta-novel within novel called At Swim Two Birds. And then as Miles na Gapaline, he wrote a column in Irish for the Irish Times for a long time. He was a contemporary, an associate of James Joyce's. And I believe, I can't remember if he wrote The Poor Mouth. I think he wrote The Poor Mouth on Beelbacht as Miles na Gasolin as well, but I wouldn't know any of this but for Larry and all my travels in Ireland. Wouldn't have read any of these novels. What are you going to do? Hey, my brother Matthew, who's never on Facebook. Hi, Matthew. Good to see you on Facebook. Anyway, mostly this is a song that David Goodrich and Paul Seabar and I wrote for the great Charlie Hayden. Tuesday morning, blue clay coffee cup. Mr. Charlie, a big sound, fill you up. So it's Monday laying you low, so what? What's the motherland say? Charlie, tell me, will there be weather today, Charlie? Country boy and Lady Baltimore, all of we washed up here on this foreign shore, playing Texas Hold'em on hotel room floor. Draw me one more bucket of foam, Charlie. Shake this jangled thicket of bones, Charlie. Tails, Jim, Casey's tail. Out swim two birds out beyond the veil. What a foot is your bump? Your bump since the air they thrill. When, what's the weatherman say? Charlie, tell me, will there be weather today, Charlie? What is it shakes in this jangled thicket of bones, Charlie? Such sail on this rando bucket of foam, Charlie. Thank you very much. We had a request here for Girl in the High Tops, which I had completely forgotten mentions Ireland. Apparently you cannot swing a stick through my catalog without... I mean, what are you going to do? I think I did 3 tours in Ireland in 1997 alone, and then at least 1 and often 2 for the next 10 years, and then for the next 12 years or so, at least about one a year. I think I've If you add it up, I think I probably spent half a year or even a year. Well, no, I lived there for 4 or 5 months, so a year or a year and a half of my... And I'm only 24, so that's a significant part of my life. So this is called Girl in the High Tops. I'm going to do a few more tunes here. If you are interested in supporting this gig, there's PayPal and Venmo information floating around in the chat thread. And, also, if you're interested in supporting Cork Penny Dinners, you can go straight to their Facebook page. You can just donate straight to them, frankly. That is fine by me. I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. I got a roof over my head, and bicycles to get places. I'm all set. Oh, just a little note. I wore one of those little just cloth surgical masks, you know, and they really are. I rode my bicycle about 20 miles yesterday with a mask on to see what that would feel like in case I ever needed to ride, you know, in a crowded city for long distances, and it felt fine. Those sort of blue, very lightweight masks that you can get, which I think in America you can get them now. You know, we're past the point where those are people are having a hard time getting them. Although I don't know for sure if you can get them everywhere. We happen to have a few in the house. Anyway, just a little bit of information. If you happen to have those blue surgical masks, they're very good for extended exertion. And please do wear a mask. Much of the available... I know that there are a lot of mixed signals out there, but that's common sense, you know. If you have this virus, and especially if you have this virus and you're experiencing mild symptoms or no symptoms, which is possible according to the people who study these things, you can kill somebody by breathing on them. So a mask will help everyone. It's not about how you look or any of that. It's about taking care of old people, immunocompromised people, and frankly healthy people. Plenty of healthy people have died of this. Oh my God. Everybody okay? Are you all right? I'm all right. Just once in a while, you know, like I went to the hardware store because the hose to the washing machine in my house broke, and I needed to just buy a hose and clamp it on, and so I went to the hardware store, and you know, I got out of my car and I walked past a car that had a bumper sticker that said, "InfoWars. Globalist conspiracy has occupied the United States." And like, I looked up from that bumper sticker and everyone within eyesight was wearing a mask. And I think if you had just not told me anything and just turned that scene on, I would have freaked the hell out. If you had just 5 months ago told me, listen, you're going to go buy a bumper sticker and see that, and when you look up, everyone will be wearing a mask. Anyway. I had a little freak out moment there. Hope you're doing well. Here's a song called Girl in the High Tops. Pretty young girl in the high tops is speaking of Shelley to me. Red wine, I feel fine. She tells me that we lose the best to the sea. We lose all the best to the sea. The show is over, the place is almost empty. Bartenders put up the chairs, and every song we sang is gone on its way into the air. It's gone on its way to the air. Gone, gone, all the way gone. Everyone all the way gone to the light on. She tells me these songs really moved her. She tells me she goes to school around here. She tells me next spring she and her boyfriend are going to Dublin to live for a year. To Dublin to live for a year. Gone, gone all the way gone. Everyone all the way gone to the life I'm in. Tell her I lived in Dublin once. I managed not to say I was young then. She says, right on, but I'm gone. My mind's as wandering forward to when the pretty young girl in the high tops is writing poems in her flat and red minds. Tonight it's snowing in Cleveland, but I'm no one to tell her we lose the best things to time. Oh, we lose all the best things to time. We're gone, gone all the way gone. Everyone all the way gone to the light on. Gone, gone all the way gone. Everyone all the way gone to the light. Amen. 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 All right, everybody, I got a couple more songs for you. I see there's somebody listening in Fairbanks, Alaska, where it is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I assume there might be 1 or 2 people still listening in Germany or the Netherlands, where it is 11 o'clock at night. So we have almost the entirety of half of the width of this lovely, weird little planet listening. But right, so I'm going to play a couple more tunes, and then I'm going to bid you good night or good afternoon. I want to thank you for listening. Here's a song. I sang this once in a place in Sligo, and then I'm going to sing this song, which is I believe that the lyric to this is by William Butler Yeats. The melody is not. I forget who wrote the melody. It's called Sally Garden. Down by the Sally Garden, my love and I didn't need. She passed the Sally Garden on little snow and feet. She let me take love easy as the leaves go on the tree. But I've been young and foolish with her, would not agree. In a field by the river, my love and I did stand, and on my leaning shoulder she laid her snow white hand. She bade me take life easy as the grass grows on the weed. But I was young and foolish, and now I'm full of tears. My uncle John McCabe married my father's sister, and he was a huge fan of The Parting Glass, which is a great old Irish tune, and I did a version up for him when he passed away. And my Aunt Mary has asked me if I would sing that one for her when she does the same. I remember once she was showing me a quilt on a bed, and then she said, "You know, I think your father was born in this bed." And then she said, "As a matter of fact, I think I was born in this bed. And one of these days, I might do a complete 180 and die in this bed." I know where I come from. I think my dad has that bed now, but he's planning to live to be 145, so no big deal there. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks, Collins Live, for instigating this. Thank you to Cork Penny Dinners. They're doing really good work there, and we're sending them some money. If you care to support this concert, there's a PayPal and a Venmo. If you want to support artists in general, and this includes me, you can buy our records. I have 3 or 4 different records on vinyl, which is a beautiful object. I have maybe 12 or 14 of my many more than that CDs in print. Or you can go to my Patreon page. I'm doing a monthly podcast and a brand new song every month. I have a couple of new records coming out. But the best thing that you can do is just listen, and I appreciate your time. I appreciate your company. Seriously, you don't have to buy a thing, and you don't have to pitch in a dime. Like, just if this is doing you some good, and I bet it is, because it's doing me some good, don't give it a second thought. Tune in. I'll be doing this just about every Sunday at different times, depending on where I'm streaming. But do not give money a second thought if you can't. So don't worry about it. Just tune in, and I will see you out there. I was talking to my partner, and it seems to me like outdoor concerts are probably going to come back first, and maybe this year, but certainly next year, if we can get all spaced apart on a lawn somewhere or the town green. I will be back out there and seeing you guys in person. So thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Collins Live. Light a fire and go and burn up all you know. You've had so much time to let things go. Now you're burning letters, old letters in the snow in your backyard. Years go rolling, now you're 33. It is time for the cross, time for the boarded tree. Still you like to cry. Couldn't you just cry when you skin your knee? Ain't it hard? It's the same old friends on New Year's Eve. The same snow will fall on the same old leaves. There's the same old joy, the same old hurt, same old corduroy shirt. storm windows and the broke-tailed squirrel and the grocery-lists and the skateboard girls. Oh, your rusty brain cells give you a twirl. Oh no, oh no. I've got a kitchen radio, I've got coffee on. I could use a little month to lean up on. Still the open road, all the road that gets me gone, off I go. It's the same old job of car keys by the door. It's the same old scuffed up floor, the same old thirst for more until they put me in the dirt. It's the same old nights alone. It's the same old baby when you coming home to feel the same old joy, feel the same old hurt, same old corduroy shirt, same old corduroy shirt. All right, human beings, thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for turning out. I will see you down the line. Take care and be safe. Wash your hands. Look out for each other. And see you next week.